You've got to be kidding me.
Okay. And now we're live, right? Oh, wait. Yep. Okay, yes, now we're live. And the first thing that everyone heard is, you've got to be kidding me. So, greetings everyone,
live.
and welcome to hour 3 of the 10-hour podcast.
Hour number 3. Jeddy, do you need to take a quick bathroom break?
No, I've been doing that in between the hours so far.
Okay, so that's why we took a break, everybody, and now we're back. Jeddy, introduce everyone.
Yes, here with me is Michael Gray, who was just speaking, and Rizziman, our only fan who is actually able to come on in this hour. But he's quite the fan. He's been around for quite some time. He's been on the podcast once previously as well.
Mm-hmm. He's the one who loves unicorns, right?
Objection!
Yikes. So this is.
What about Paul Franzen? Is he here or not?
I don't think Paul is actually.
He's in the chat though, right? Paul?
Paul, yeah, he's in the actual chat.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Hi, Paul.
Previously we were handing out prizes to our guests. So, maybe Paul would remember this. Didn't we do a GameCola scavenger hunt like 4 or 5 years back? I helped Kevin Leacock with some of the questions.
5 minutes into this and I'm already lost.
He's already lost.
Everyone's
See,
already lost.
Kevin, if you could find that, and then we could use those questions as trivia questions to give out the prizes, that would be great.
Oh boy.
And Kevin won't be able to find it.
Yikes.
So, how has the podcast been so far? I just started listening like 3 minutes ago.
It's pretty good.
I started about like 30 minutes ago. I was lost.
I started about 2
We
hours
all know
ago.
when you started, Jeddy.
Yes.
So who
And
are
I
our
commend you
special
for it.
Yes. I have to survive 10 hours of this.
Rest in pieces.
Yes. So what are we doing? Oh, Michael Gray, you were trying to say something? I wasn't listening to you.
I was going to say our special mystery guest did not appear. Makes me sad.
Very sad.
Party pooper.
Yeah. But now we have another mystery guest who is Rizziman. Oh, hold on.
Yes, but I remember which podcast was Rizziman in?
44.
Is that what it was?
44, because I seem to remember
Because
you were
Jeddy
on
said
the
like
podcast.
50 times.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well,
You're on the podcast and we completely had nothing to talk about. Was that it, or were you the one that kept continuing it after we couldn't figure anything out?
I kept figuring out things on the top of my head, so.
yes. He was good at coming up with new topics to talk about, which I think we might need that skill this hour.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's podcast.
Or any hour.
Yes.
Tetris, Halo, and Metroid.
Oh, some of our favorite game characters.
So has anybody ever
And
played...
Link, don't forget about me. I was genius.
I wanted to be, whatever you call it, Navi. Hey, listen.
Oh god, no, please.
So here's my question. Why do people think Navi's annoying? Because I never knew people thought that way until looking at the internet 8 years after playing the game the first time.
That's because, like, during the, while they're playing, they don't know when to go, where to go, or when to go, so they basically did a bunch of side quests, and Navi just wouldn't shut up and tell you where you have to go, while the player just wanted to do a bunch of side quests.
Have you played Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D?
Yes, I have.
So, my question with that game is, I forget my question. Navi's supposed to be your tutorial character, and they put in another tutorial thing. They have those Sheikah stones.
Oh, yeah, that's in case if you get stuck, like in the water temple, which I'm pretty sure you would.
So you have Navi. So, I mean, it's like, what's the point of having an additional tutorial? Why couldn't they have merged those two?
Well, one, to make Navi less annoying, and two, so in case you get stuck like in a certain room, you'll go into the Sheikah stone, and there will be a solution to get out of that room.
Okay, well, I mean, I thought, maybe they could upgrade. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Can't they upgrade Navi to, like, you can call Navi by playing Saria's song. I thought that would be a way of upgrading Navi and making her useful, as, like, she would have a different thing to say about every single room.
Yeah, like try to keep moving.
Yeah. No. Try to keep moving, Link. Yeah.
What do you want me to do? Push-ups in the middle of the field?
Aww, I like Navi. Well, Jeddy, you have never played this game because you are incredibly silent.
Yeah, I've never played the game, so.
Aww. So,
Poor Diane.
yeah, I can talk about Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time forever and ever. That was actually going to be one of the podcast segments when I was the podcast master, actually.
Yes, back in the day.
Was that, every podcast we'd spend like 20 minutes talking about that game, and we'd go through every single level sequentially. So we'd start off with like, the Deku Tree, and then move on to the Kakariko Village Goron stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that now.
It's a what now?
Is this hour of the podcast intended to give me a break?
This is an hour of the podcast giving Jeddy a break, yes.
Yes. Because I don't think I'll have much input on this.
I also get feedback from the chat room. I see Diane is pretty enthusiastic about it.
Actually, maybe I will go get lunch. You guys can talk about...
Oh, okay. We can take over the podcast and talk about it.
Yes, and I will be back shortly.
Oh boy, small girl's asking me another question.
Okay, so starting off with Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, I think the first thing we see is the Deku Tree talking in the old-fashioned language. What do you feel about that?
Nostalgic.
You don't think it's kind of random that he's just randomly talking about yees and yays and whatever he talks about?
Oh, it's supposed to take place in an old time period, isn't it?
But nobody else talks that way.
He has a mustache, don't question him.
This is just my question. Navi, hear my plea. Come ye hither. He doesn't actually say come ye hither. And then he says Navi needs to find the boy without a fairy, and then Navi goes flying off, and that was actually a pretty cool sequence. The first person point of view of Navi flying off, and she hits into the wall, which I thought was cool.
Fence.
What?
She hit into a fence.
You're right. No, it's a wall with holes in it. It's a very bad wall. And then she makes the same sound effect that Princess Ruto makes whenever you throw her at something, right? Or is that whenever you hit her?
Oh, I enjoy doing that.
You hit her or throw her into the fence.
Or the wall will switch, or the giant bubbles coming at you.
Yeah, well, you don't, at this point, it's not reusing sound effects because you haven't heard that sound effect before.
Yeah, really.
So my question is, did Navi not know where Link lives? Because it takes her forever to find his house. Well, it's not like there are that many houses in Kokiri Village.
Well, the Kokiri Village is a cute-looking place. I wouldn't blame her for wanting to look around a bit.
Doesn't she live there? Where did Navi live prior to this? Because she's not like...
I'm guessing in the tree. I don't know.
Well, none of the other fairies seem to have names. Or would you think that the other fairies have names?
That'd be kind of weird to call them, hey, fairy, come over here. I'm like,
yeah, but I mean, Saria never names her fairy.
They never even talk about their fairies.
But they make such a big deal of the fact that Link finally has a fairy. So, I don't know. So
it's a great game and a story.
So here's a question. Here's a question, though. When Saria was trapped in the Forest Temple for 7 years, was her fairy trapped with her?
Maybe her fairy died. I don't know. All we can do is speculate. We don't have decisive evidence.
Oh, okay. Was her fairy there during any of the cutscenes where we see her as adult Link? It wasn't.
No.
And Navi was there during the cutscenes with adult Link.
How long do fairies live anyway? How long would they live?
I'm guessing the fairy lives just as long as the person lives. Although I could be completely wrong here.
Then they have a hard job to do, don't they?
Well, I mean, the only fairy we have contact with is Navi, and maybe if she's as annoying as people say, that the other Kokiri just ignore their fairies all the time.
Wait. I just remember from the chat room, they're saying that the Kokiri live forever. So, guessing the fairies would too.
I guess that does mean it. But that doesn't seem to make much sense. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, it's just a video game. It's not a movie where they have to pay attention to every detail.
Okay, well, here's my question then. Because Link was he entered the forest as a baby, so why does everybody think he's a Kokiri then?
I have no idea.
If they live forever, I don't know. I guess that means if they live forever, yeah, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah.
Logically thinking, there are some people say you can live forever and it can start at a certain point in time.
And logically thinking, then if the Kokiris never grow up, then they would have to be born at when they look 10 years old.
Yeah, but I'm guessing if Link came into
That's
the forest as a baby, this means that...
How are they born exactly? That's the question.
The Deku Tree raises them from the ground.
So I'm guessing they just assumed that happened with Link.
Yeah, I'm guessing the Deku Tree magic must bring in Kokiri.
Yeah.
Plus, they all look like. They have triplets. They have the twins and the triplets, which I thought was interesting. But now that I'm older, it's like
they were just brothers. Yeah.
They were just reusing the character designs.
Like the Majora's Mask.
Yeah. What about the blonde Kokiri? Do you remember the random blonde one?
I pay no attention. All I did was just talk to her once. That's it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, all the Kokiri look the same except for her. What's up with that? Now, see, this
maybe
is
she's stupid.
Maybe this is something I would have hoped for in the remake of the game, is that they would have gone into more detail about anything rather than just using
That's
the
why they
exact
call it a
same
remake.
translation. They could have expanded it. Like Super Mario 64 DS. They gave us new levels and stuff. And new characters.
That's true, but they didn't want to do anything new to such a great game. They just wanted to make it look the way they originally intended for
now
it.
That's bogus because Super Mario 64 is a better game.
Objection!
What do you mean objection? Okay, podcast listeners, what's better, Legend of Zelda 64 or Super Mario 64?
You seriously just call it that?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if the people in the live chat will say which one they like is better.
Yes, that'd be good.
Kevin Leacock says Mario. Diana says Legend of Zelda. So we are tied. Paul is gonna have to cast the deciding vote.
Ignoring everybody else in there.
Paul is asking, what's the question? What was better, Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, or Super Mario 64?
You for saying the correct title.
Because Paul didn't like either of the games.
Screw you, Paul.
Paul, what about Quest 64?
I'm just gonna die right now.
Well. Anyway, Kokiri Forest. Yeah. No, actually, I haven't seen anything. So, why do you think nobody ever leaves the Kokiri Forest? I have an answer.
Because they'll die.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And anybody who comes into the forest becomes a Stalfos, right?
Well, not everybody. If they die in the forest, then they become one.
Oh, if they die in the forest. Okay. No, I read a fanfic once, so I'll have to try to find the link to it, but it explains why
that does not count as evidence.
Why the Kokiri die when they leave the forest. They go into the forest, they leave the forest, and what's the first thing they run into?
That giant helicopter-looking piece. I don't know what it's called.
They run into the owl, actually. They run into the owl before. And they get stuck saying, do you want to hear what I said again? And they accidentally press yes over and over and over again, and the owl drives them insane, and they die.
Attention span is fading. They click the wrong button because their attention span is fading.
Yeah, that's exactly it, because I know everybody who plays the game gets stuck on the owl at least once or twice, and all the Kokiri just get continually stuck on the owl until they die of starvation. So what about Mido? Mido is the leader of the Kokiri. Why is he the leader when nobody seems to like him?
Because he's the only one stepping up to the plate.
Oh, okay. Why do they need a leader anyway?
Yeah, isn't that what... I don't know.
What sort of command decisions does he have to make? The other leaders make command decisions.
Pick up that grass. Pick up those rocks.
Yeah.
Oh, we're nerds.
Who is the best leader? I mean, I'm thinking of the other leaders. King Zora, who basically just sits around and does nothing, but he makes decisions. And Darunia, he makes decisions too.
I'll literally come to him.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have no choice. Okay.
And let me see. Who do you think would count as the leader of Lon Lon Ranch? Malon or Talon?
Malon.
What about Ingo?
You mean that Luigi ripoff?
Yeah.
Past or future?
Yeah, future Ingo, definitely. Who do you think works harder, though? Ingo or, well, yeah, Ingo works harder than Talon.
Yeah, did you really have to ask that question?
Well, my question is, well, doesn't that make it justified for Ingo to take control of the ranch because he's the hardest working person there?
Yeah, that's true, but that didn't give him right to kick Talon out.
Oh, he kicked him out. Yeah, I know there's a backstory. I don't completely forget about it. I don't think the game goes into too much detail. I think Ingo cut a deal with Ganondorf to put him in charge of the ranch, and in return, Ingo's going to give him cool horses. Because Ganondorf is a horse lover. He's the only person I think we see besides Link who rides a horse.
Wait, can we also include the manga version of this or just the game?
I don't remember what's...
In the manga version, the Twin Rover brainwash Ingo to helping Ganon.
Yeah, I seem to remember. And also in the manga version wasn't, what's the boss of the Fire Temple?
Volvagria.
That was
the dragon.
Little baby dragon.
I actually thought that was pretty cute.
Where did Link get a baby dragon? When did he get a baby dragon?
He pulled it out of his ass. I don't know.
So wait.
It was inside his hat.
Manga version of Link. Is this like?
Jeddy.
Is this the one that was serialized in Nintendo Power?
No, actually, the one that's serialized in Nintendo Power tells a little bit of the backstory of Link's parents arriving in Kokiri Forest.
Actually, the one that I'm thinking of was like in the late 90s, so this probably doesn't...
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of the one specifically for Ocarina of Time. But speaking of Nintendo Power and Ocarina of Time, there was like an article, a couple of preview articles for the game in Nintendo Power showing off abilities which weren't actually in the other game. In the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
Such as, I'm totally forgetting the name, the sword.
Oh, the beam.
The beam sword, yeah, which has been in all the 2D games. How do you think that would have worked in,
You have to have pretty good aim, I'll tell you that.
Huh.
You think it could have worked with Z targeting, though?
Yes. As long as your enemy wasn't moving more than jello during an earthquake.
Why are you complaining about this attack? It was never in the game.
I don't know.
Can it be just like the arrows or the hook shot where, it's like easily attacks an enemy with Z targeting even though they're moving?
Yeah, that would work. Well, the hook shot doesn't really work well with Z targeting when the enemies are moving, but...
Yeah, with the flying enemies. But, I always used it anyway because I didn't want to waste arrows.
Yeah. That's why I waited for them to come to me and I would hack at them.
I'm not very good at destroying keys. So where were we?
I always hated those names. See, if they call the bats Keiths, then what do they call the keys?
I think it's because they came up with a name in the late 80s, and they have to stick...
or something?
No, it's something they made up, like Goomba or Koopa. It's like, okay, here's a random name somebody made up in the 80s before it became a super huge thing, and they don't want to go back and change it.
That's true. I guess we did need names. If there weren't, we'd be calling Goombas mushrooms with a big fungus problem.
Well, everybody calls Koopas turtles, so, I don't see what the big problem was.
Yeah. Maybe it's a Japanese thing. I don't know.
What does Koopa mean in Japanese? Paul?
He's not on the... Oh, wait. Yeah, he's in the chat.
Yes, he is. He's just hiding from us.
Paul, you speak fluent Japanese. Could you translate Koopa and Goomba for us?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Paul... Uh-oh. Paul says hello, so that's apparent. Okay,
Paul says no.
Okay, so Koopa means hello.
Then use Google Translator.
Well, we could use Google Translator, presumably, but it's more fun making Paul do it. So all of the names...
Telling us what to do.
The various names in Ocarina of Time come from the second game, Legend of Zelda Adventure of Link.
Mm-hmm. I almost beat that game.
You almost got that game or hate it?
No, I almost beat it.
You almost beat that game. It's a nice game. I like it.
Oh, wait, Paul says Koopa are a pop-punk band with Sybil. I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Heading him, Neil Colchester. Okay, so Koopas are named after a pop-punk band. Okay.
What the hell?
Okay.
Were they, like, listening to their MP3s when they come up with the names or something? They were going, yeah, I'll listen to this guy Koopa. Yeah. And it's like, what?
Well, this brings us back to Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, because apparently this is the Ocarina of Time hour. Why do you think they named the 4 Poes in the Forest Temple after the Little Women?
They were reading while they were working?
The book, The Little Women, they have 4 characters in that book, and they named the Poes after the 4 main characters, Beg, Joe, Meg, and Amy.
Well, I guess in a game that involves thinking, I believe they would want to put a cameo in there that would make the players think even more.
Okay.
Oh, I'm just guessing on the top of my head.
It's like just a random book to put them in. I know it's enjoyable, but I don't know. Couldn't they reuse names from one of... They could have called themselves the Koopas.
Yeah, name them after the 7 Koopa brothers.
No, seriously, I would have named them after Edgar Allan Poe references, because they're Poes. So, let's just call them Edgar Allan and Poe. Just have 3 of them.
The fourth one would be called the Raven.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. This is a live podcast, so we can't cut out any of the dead air.
Yes, sadly.
Let's Jeddy figures out a way.
So, Jeddy, what did you have for lunch?
Food.
Wrong!
Did not have food at all.
How do you know what I had for lunch?
I'm watching you.
No, actually, my phone is ringing.
What the hell is that?
It's my cell phone. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Okay. So, why do you think Saria has a song that you just play the song and you can talk to her? Do you think that's in the real world that could be a major inconvenience? But I'm wondering how that works.
I think she. I don't know.
Because she's Saria is what Sailor Moon Girl 412 is saying.
Yeah, we gotta pay more attention to this feed here. Why don't we ask them the questions instead of asking each other?
We'll ask the questions. No, the people who are listening to the podcast, if you guys have any questions about the game, please let us know. So
Paul says he's a Goomba is not just a member of a marching band, but a lifestyle. So
Koopas and Goombas are named after musical people. Okay, so musical nerds were in charge of naming the characters.
I'm interested in what this lifestyle is. Please elaborate on this, Paul.
The Goomba lifestyle. Haven't you ever heard of it?
Duh.
Yeah, you do the duck walk wherever you go and pray people don't stop on you.
Duck, duck, duck.
If you run a plumber, you're screwed.
Goomba can be used to describe not only a person, but things, such as clothing, items, and attitude. So if you have the Goomba-tude...
Like you run into a midget on the street and go, oh, you have a Goomba attitude.
Well, here's my thing. If you listen to the Koopas, would that give you some Goomba-tude?
What are we talking about?
Legend of Zelda? I don't know.
Oh, this is going down the toilet.
Thanks.
No, it's not. So Lost Woods, here's my question. Why does it seem that some people are unable to leave the Lost Woods when it seems really easy to end up back at the entrance to the Lost Woods?
Because they're deaf.
They can't hear anything?
I guess.
No, but I mean, if you walk into a random entrance, then random exit, you end up at the start again?
I think that's only for people who live in the Kokiri Forest and know the place like the back of their hands.
Oh, no, because Link gets lost. Has he just never gone into the Lost Woods before?
Yeah, I don't know.
One of my problems with the game...
Well, if they had to explain to us where the Lost Woods was, then I guess...
Well, they're lost, okay? You need to be able to figure out where to find them.
Oh, this game is illogical.
But one of the things that bothers me is when I replay the game, and the listening trick doesn't really work.
Oh, wait. Paul said something else. Goombas are generally disliked by a normal population due to interrupting calm days on campus by running around with Nerf guns and shooting each other. Oh, sounds like my karate class.
That's Goombatude. No, but as I was saying...
Whatever's on the internet is not always true.
No, I want to know if this is a problem for anybody else or if it was just me. It's that you can do the listening trick the first time to get to the Forest Temple, but the second or third time it doesn't work. Did that happen to anybody else or just me? Because I have a different version of the game.
Which version?
I have the original gold version. The original gold cartridge with the uncensored blood.
Oh, snap. Gold cartridge.
Oh, Jeddy, I forgot you were here.
Yes. I just don't have much to input.
Yeah, so what did you eat?
Oh, I had a mini pizza.
Nice.
Yes,
so
and some Mountain Dew.
Was the mini pizza?
Eating and gaining weight while at it.
How big was the mini pizza?
It was single serving size. Actually, according to the back of the box, you're only supposed to eat half of the pizza.
So a 5-inch diameter.
Yeah, 5 inches?
Maybe a little bigger. Maybe 6.
Oh, I have a discussion topic, but Paul is not here. Paul, do you have your copy of 999? 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors, and we'll wait for him to say this on the chat, even though he...
Turn those numbers upside down. What do you get? Yeah, exactly.
666? Uh-oh. It's supposed to be an evil game, though.
That's the Mario 3 virus.
Oh, Paul is so not listening to the podcast.
Yikes.
Oh, Paul. Fail, Paul. Fail.
Yeah.
I was going to ask him to get out the manual because I don't know if this happens in any other games, but the pictures in the manual don't really seem to correlate with the actual game itself, which I find humorous. The person who wrote the manual, the person who drew the pictures for the manual didn't actually play the game, I'm guessing.
Kind of like the person who drew the Mega Man box art.
Yeah, it's that same sort of thing.
It was at this point in their journey that our intrepid voyagers experienced some serious technical issues at the hands of a diabolical microwave. But not to worry, GameCola faithful, this simply means that you'll get to enjoy some music for a moment and miss out on further discussion of Ocarina of Time, for which I sincerely apologize. I suppose it's about time I return you to the show, but I hope you enjoyed this intermission. Until next time.
Does that mean she remembers the alternate timeline, or that he's just really, really persuasive?
Or did he no comment to that?
He just pulled out the sword and said, "Give me the horse." Just pulled out his sword, held it to her throat, and forced her to give him Epona.
Okay. Wow. Are we back? Hold on. Are we back on the...
And if everybody... Oh, hey, everybody. We were talking about Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, so...
And shipping.
Damn you, Paul.
And shipping, yes. But here's my question, though. If everybody hates Navi, why is the plot of Majora's Mask Link wants to find Navi?
No, it's about him getting sidetracked looking for Navi.
Yeah.
Because we don't want a whole game looking for that annoying little...
but I mean, why did he bother to look for her in the first place? Because he loves her. Aww.
No one else would have to deal with her, so he could kill her.
Why did Navi leave, though, is my question.
So is Link Navi your OTP?
Little
Link Navi is my OTP, actually. I think I prefer Link Malin.
little beep.
Well, who are the other girls? I think it would have to be the other human girls, I would say, because I think Link should end up with a human because he's human. So it'd have to be either Zelda or Malin.
I don't know. I want to talk about something else.
Look, species is just a construct, dude. Like.
Okay. Well, here's the question.
Separated into different categories of kingdom, phylum.
Classes,
orders, species, families. I'm just studying for my bio test right now.
Bruno is some sort of fish character, okay? That's kind of creepy. She has gills.
Wait.
Wants to talk about unicorns again.
Michael Gray, didn't you write a fan fiction about Bird Girl Island?
I did, yes.
And wasn't there some cross-species stuff going on there?
There was no cross-species. There might have been, actually.
I think there was.
Cross-species breeding.
No, it didn't, because what happened is they eventually turned on me and then killed me.
That's true.
So, I mean, it was all just a lure to try to trick me. It was all just a lure to try to trick me. They never liked me.
Oh.
Just like every other girl. She just pretends to like you so she can burn you at the stake. Tragic story of my life.
Yes, that's how all my relationships have gone.
I bet.
That's what happens with most of your dates. And that's... I think we've talked all we can possibly talk about Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and we haven't even mentioned Zelda herself. So.
That's because she's barely in the game herself.
She's barely in the game herself. She has 3 scenes. Which is something that bothered me about Twilight Princess, because, again, Zelda has only 3 scenes, but the game's like 20 hours longer than Ocarina of Time. So there's like a 10-hour gap between every one of Zelda's scenes, so you literally forget about her and what her plotline is.
That's why we had those shitty CDI games.
Well, what about, in the first game, where was Zelda the entire game?
In the dungeon.
Yeah, she's being captured by Ganon.
You never meet or hear about Zelda until the end of the game, so why is it called Legend of Zelda?
Because Legend of Korra was already taken.
Because Legend of Link sounds weird.
It does, actually.
Link's Legend, how's that?
Link's Legend?
That sounds better.
Wait, what was it? Lincoln Launch?
Lincoln Logs. Yeah, let's call the game Lincoln Logs.
No. Lincoln Launch, that game that came out a couple years ago.
Oh, wait. Oh. Diana's asking, Michael, did you ever finish Skyward Sword? Or even get past the first temple?
This is a fun fact. I tried recording it, I believe, a week and a half ago. I tried recording the first 10 minutes, and it did not work out at all. I need new recording equipment. Sorry, everybody. And I did a dude voice for Zelda. Because the game starts off with Link getting a letter, and I said, oh, this is Link clearly getting a letter from one of his bros. So I did a bro voice. And then at the end, it's like, your friend, Zelda. And I said, uh-oh. It's like, well, that's her voice now, so I'm going to have to stick with that voice for the rest of the actual game.
Yikes.
Oh, Diana, you actually finished it? How long did it take you?
Yeah, how long is the game? Diana, did you actually go for all the extra things, like all the heart pieces and such?
I was about to get to the third temple, then my Wii died on me.
Aw, what happened?
Actually...
You threw your remote at the Wii.
Actually, here's a funny story. I was taking it to, I was on my way to the third temple, then I had to go to karate class or something, I'm not sure. But then...
So you karate chopped your Wii.
Yeah. So, anyway, I think I forgot to save, so, and then I took my Wii to video game night at my school, and while they were doing a Super Smash Brothers tournament...
They smashed the game! I seriously know what's going to happen.
Actually, that's actually what I think happened. Someone plugged in a GameCube controller, and when they went to sit down, they accidentally yanked on it, and they tipped it over, and the CD drive popped out.
Oh.
So then I had to buy another one for $100, and I couldn't get the new Model 2 Wii because it's not compatible with GameCube games. And I have plenty of them here. I have Melee, Rocky, Terminator.
Oh, I didn't know they had a Model 2 Wii. When did this get released?
A couple like maybe a year ago. I don't know. It's the one that's packaged with New Super Mario Brothers, the soundtrack, and the all that other crap you don't need.
Yeah. Well, look out, because then the Wii 1000 comes, and it's like this weird silvery snake thing.
Did you just make that name up?
The Wii 1000? It turns into a helicopter pilot police officer.
I'm looking for the Super Wii, sorry.
And Optimus Prime turns into Optimus Prime. You have to get a Wii Zapper and just shoot it.
Speaking of which, or maybe not speaking of which, I filed GameCola's application to get into E3 this year.
Oh, how'd that go? You have 4 minutes to tell us about it.
We have been rejected for the past 2 years, so...
Do we have business cards this time?
We have business cards, believe it or not. Paul still has my business card, which has the logo, my name and address, and my capacity as a staff member.
Yikes. And?
But they say it will take 2 weeks for them to get back to us. They say you will hear from us within 2 weeks. So let's see if they have gotten back to us. See, the thing is, they need 3 articles, right? They need 3 articles to prove that, I actually write for the site. It's like 3 articles within the past, no new things. Sorry, everybody.
Well,
so here's the story. I'm going to write a post about this on GameCola no matter what.
E3 isn't that great. It's just a bunch of trailers.
Yeah, but I could still get to play a bunch of demos and then make fun of them live. Okay, so my email is, to whom it may concern, here are my credentials to cover E3 as a writer for GameCola.net. Attached are my business card and driver's license, and here are some articles I've written within the past 3 months.
Here we go.
You sent them your driver's license?
Yeah, actually.
Your actual physical driver's license?
Why don't you just send them your social security number while you're at it?
They require it. Anyway, the 3 articles I wrote were the one about My Little Pony, the one I wrote...
That was your first mistake.
Yeah, that's number 1. The article about Professor Layton, which I wrote yesterday, because I didn't have 3 articles in total. So it's like, I need a 3rd article.
Why didn't you have Matt Jonas fill it out? He filled out plenty of stuff for GameCola.
Yes, but it has to have my name on it as a writer. And one which was copy-pasted from my blog, but we hid the copy-pasted from his blog notice.
Oh boy.
So they are going to accept us this year, right?
They have to.
They have to. Okay, really? So are we going
to do... writing sucks.
Are we going to wrap up the hour with a question for the readers?
Oh, true. We should have done that a while ago.
I have the scavenger hunt, so...
Okay, give us a question, Michael.
Name 3 plays. Oh, wait. I was going to say name 3 plays that, what's his face? Zach Rich has been in, but we should save that for when he's actually here.
I can make up one.
Who was the 2007 Employee of the Year?
Oh, I know that one.
Oh, good.
I do. It was you, Michael.
It was
me,
don't
give away the answer.
I actually don't know. So,
Paul, shut up.
It was
Paul knows. Paul doesn't award himself. Paul sort of rigs the end of game awards. Sorry. Oh. No offense, Paul, but, he refused to let me nominate the cow from Harvest Moon as Best New Character this year.
Hold on, I think I gave it away, but still Small Girl is the winner.
Jeddy won!
Yes,
all right!
Won, which actually I mentioned, I think, a number of times. But yes,
So that makes that a good question. If somebody actually has been listening, then...
Wait, Paul, has there been any other people who've won Staff Member of the Year twice?
Me.
You.
Oh.
Me, Michael Gray. Oh. And Mary Ann Fenwick also won Best Guest Star of the Year twice.
Yeah. Back to the answers.
Because of me.
Small Girl, do you have an Xbox Live account, hopefully?
Oh, Neil won twice, too.
Neil Ivanone won twice? Way to go, Neil. Why isn't Neil on the Podcast-tacular?
Why doesn't anyone have an Xbox Live account?
Because Xbox are overpriced.
Do you like...
Neil turned us down. Wow. Well,
do you like MMOs?
All the people I asked turned me down, too.
Major multiplayer online games now.
Talking to Small Girl.
Yeah,
except for the one that wanted to set me on fire.
Not really?
Flame on.
Well, you're gonna get one of these sweaters anyway, and hopefully you can get it somehow.
Oh, yes.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
Congratulations, small girl.
Yeah, this hour is over. Thank you, Rizziman.
I had to take off. It's the end of the hour. See you later, everybody.
Thank you, Michael
Like
Gray.
pie.
Coming up on the next hour, we will have Zach Huffman, Jillian Dingle, and Kevin Leacock.
Oh, wow.
I'll try not to make fun of her last name.
We're already at 1 p.m. Wow.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, thank you, everyone. See you.
See ya, guys.
Next
I'll
hour.
be back. I'll be back at 3 p.m.
Also, Michael Gray, just to tell you, Kevin Lee Censored is telling you how to pronounce his name properly. And everyone else is...
Wait a minute. I pronounce all those names correctly. Zach Huffman, Jillian Dingwall, and Kevin Leacock.
Oh, great.
Okay,
It's Zach Huffman, right? Don't get into a huff, man. See, it's funny because that's his last name.
Your jokes are worse than the ones on Jungle Cruise.
We're out of here. Okay.
Great. Now
You guys-
I wanted to be on the Jungle Cruise.
You guys
okay,
are-
see you later.
It sucks.